All right, drivers and dashers, welcome back to Paid to Drive. If you're new here, hit that red sub button, turn on the notification bell, and hit that like, and let's jump into this. So, coming from Roshan Vance, shout out to him, solving third-party delivery problems with sites set on Uber Eats, GrubHub, and DoorDash. What does this mean? Here we go. When an online app used for ordering takeout kept listing the menus of his Salvatore's Tomato Pies restaurants without his consent, owner Patrick DePula became irritated. Even though we would tell them to take the menus down, they would go away and then come back, DePula said. Third-party food delivery services such as GrubHub, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Madison-based Eat Street can help restaurant owners connect with customers, especially during COVID. But they also can cause problems when they don't have a restaurant's permission to list their menus. A bipartisan bill introduced in the state legislature last month, or legislature, there we go, last month seeks to rein in those services. DePula couldn't wait for legislative remedies, so when GrubHub kept posting his menus without permission, he took matters into his own hands. GrubHub drivers would show up in his restaurant on Livingston Street and in Sun Prairie and try to use a credit card to pay for something while jacking up the price paid by the customer to absurd levels unbeknownst to DePula. As a test, DePula said he had GrubHub deliver a single pizza on the menu for $22, and it became $38 after fees and tips. DePula said he finally told his employees to start charging the drivers a fee. The first time it happened, we just charged an extra $300 on the GrubHub credit card. And they were like, there's a mistake. And I'm like, yeah, there's a mistake. Stop doing it. Oh boy. After he repeated that a couple of times, he said GrubHub got the message and took Salvatore's off its platform. But now his other restaurants are showing up on Uber Eats. Basic guardrails. In the last few years, with indoor dining curtailed or eliminated by COVID-19 and its restrictions, delivery services have gotten more popular. And restaurant owners have complained about services putting menus on their sites without permission and charging exorbitant fees that can increase an order by as much as 30%. Senator Patrick Testin, R. Stevens Point, the bill's lead author in the Senate, said legislators were approached by the Wisconsin Restaurant Association to take up the matter. They want some basic guardrails and assurances, Testin said. We want to make sure that there's an agreement between any third-party vendor and a restaurant, that the service agrees to have their information up there and to participate in the service. Testin said he was part of a stakeholder meeting Wednesday between the Wisconsin Restaurant Association and representatives from the third-party companies. I think we agree in principle that this is something that needs to be addressed, he said. We're working with both sides of this to come to a good compromise that will be in the best interest of everyone. Christine Hilmer, president and CEO of the Wisconsin Restaurant Association, said some third-party delivery services take the logo, the name, and old menu and old pricing and put it on their app. Then they will deliver for these restaurants with no formal relationship between them. The restaurant may not even have the ingredients to make the dishes that are ordered, she said. What it does is it puts the restaurants in a difficult position because they don't have a relationship with the company, Hilmer said. It inserts themselves between the restaurant and the customer. Third-party delivery is not all bad, she said, but this practice of saying they represent these restaurants when there's no relationship really is very harmful. Hearing set, the bill will get a hearing at 10 a.m. Tuesday before the Senate Labor and Regulatory Reform Committee at the Capitol in room 300 SE and would require that the delivery services ensure that menus, descriptions, and prices unrelated to restaurants are accurate. Or to a restaurant is accurate. Under the bill, the services must also disclose to restaurants the amount of any commissions, delivery fees, and promotional fees charged. They must also ensure their delivery drivers have knowledge of basic food safety principles. The services must also give restaurant operators access to details related to orders and must let operators view and respond to consumer feedback and reviews. Teston said the bill is, as it is currently written, will likely be amended to accommodate some of the changes that were discussed at the stakeholders meeting. Legislators will also take a look at language that was adopted in similar bills in Missouri and Texas, he said, adding that 9 states plus the District of Columbia have passed legislation addressing the issue. Product control. Matt Van Ness, co-owner of Brasserie V on Monroe Street, said he's had trouble with GrubHub ordering his food, and more than half the time it was food the restaurant was no longer serving. It's infrequent, he said, and 90% of the time his employees have caught it and refused to make the food. Van Ness said he's had a good experience with Eat Street, the Madison-based food delivery company, and it's the only delivery service he uses. He likes Eat Street because it has its own employees instead of private contractors. His restaurant doesn't see a lot of delivery business, maybe 2 or 3 orders a night, and having Eat Street handle delivery is preferable to him coordinating that service and having to worry about insurance and liability. So, what do we think about this, drivers? I mean, you know, this is ridiculous, you know? It says that's not what our model is. We're not a delivery place, Van Ness said. Hilmer said Eat Street is a valued partner to a lot of restaurants and not one of the big 3, Uber Eats, GrubHub, and DoorDash. They are also at the table, she said, about Eat Street. A restaurant needs to be able to have control over their product and what's happening with it and not have companies insert themselves into that relationship, she said. We just want the restaurant to be, pun intended, in the driver's seat to say who can and who cannot deliver their food, Hilmer said. So like I was saying, guys, what do we think about this? I know I've talked about this many times in the past, but it's still getting out of control. I have always 100% been against these companies listing restaurants' menus without their permission, without them even knowing about it, because it can also lead to other bad things like bad reviews and stuff that the restaurant had no idea about, So let me know your thoughts down below, drivers and dashers. I want to hear from you. This is important. Also, make sure you guys are all subscribed to my other channel, Team PTD. We're trying to get it to 1,000 subscribers. We're like 100 away, so link is in the description. Make sure to turn on that notification bell and all that stuff. Definitely go over there, watch the videos. There's more content like Pay to Drive, and I will be adding more stuff. So let me know in the comments or the chat if you're subscribed. Leave a comment saying subbed. There are all the names right here on your screen of our current patrons as of the current moment of this video being made. So huge shout outs to all of them. If you guys want to sign up, links are down below. As I mentioned, who's going to be the next patron? Maybe it will be you.